Hey everybody, Chameleon here. We're going to be watching day 2 of the Silverhand League. And joining us today is Weewo coaching Damalfi Gitz up against Matt Shina coaching McAlpine's Fusiliers, the High Elf team. And we are going to have to introduce the teams a little bit earlier than I did last time. So we're going to hopefully do it before we go ahead and lose anybody to KOs or casualties. And while they're setting up the teams, I'm going to try to zip around and go as quickly as I can here. We've got Sailron Roloth with Catch and Dodge, Nisanton Delarathor with Catch, Tal Norlarin Augdirdar with Guard, Nymphenian Malyatinu with Block and Dodge. We've got Siyangian Rololon with Guard, and Bilsathion Lanlincel, lineman with Dodge. And here we've got Blitzer, Alia Kunan Galathalar with Blodge and Sidestep. Does have agility 3, but still quite a deadly player. Patrick Murphy with the Catch and Dodge. And up front here we've got Garnon Agdudar lineman. And the Vermeyen Kuyayan, the loner. And the last one decided to run away. I don't think I've said this name quite yet. Audimonion Ruelia, another loner. So it looks like the High Elf team is recovering from some of the casualties it suffered. And while he's going ahead and setting up, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Orc team, coached by Weewo. And this is going to be a rookie team, so not going to be quite as many level ups. But here we have Gabnick Nose, the lineman. And Tumpy Slick Shanks with Blitzer with Block. Here we've got Grishnak Toothspit, a 4-strength Blitzer with Block. Next it's the Black Orc Socket Pulla, and Ardbits, the Black Orc. Bits Gutchua, the Black Orc. And Heftgut, the Black Orc. None of these quite have level 2 yet, but they are going to be some of the hardest guys to level on the Orc team. And then we have 11 Fingers, the Blitzer. And I'm not sure how he got 11 fingers. They don't tend to have mutation access, but maybe he rolled triples. Next we've got Snotstream Mucksifter, the lineman. Glufak, the loner, probably going to be playing. Okay, looks like he's a man down. And Morbad Twinkletoes, the thrower with Pass and Sure Hands. So I'm going to go ahead and let them finish their setups here. What we do see is a crowding of the line by the Orc team. This can be a little bit risky, especially since once the elves can get a couple of blocks through, they can flood your backfield. However, I'm not crazy about the lineup we're seeing here from Matt Shiny. We have the 2 men right here up in the front, and if this is a blitz roll, it could very easily result in a surf. And so it looks like he might be going for some sort of push through here, but definitely not necessarily what you want to see for your starting lineup. Is going to get the high kick, put him in place. It's going to start with a 2-die block down here. And it is a 2-die block without block. This can be a little bit risky, especially for the first action. And dodges into a tackle zone on the first turn. The second play of his first turn. Whew! Matt Shiny definitely playing it a little riskier than I'd like to see. That fails, and you basically are handing the Orcs a free go at your ball carrier. At least an easy markup. And definitely a big threat for Nymphenian Malyatinu. He is going to be fortunate not to fail that, because does get the surf, no injury there, puts a few guys in the backfield, only spaces these guys 1 square away and these guys 1 square away, so it is going to be quite easy. You can use 2 men to basically mark up everyone there, at least with 1 tackle zone. Is going to put a little bit of protection with a loose screen here. Dodges all of his guys away. He's going to have a fair amount of dodge here. Looks like he does have a surprising amount of guard, is a couple good doubles rolls for the elves. Not quite as much block as you'd like to see, but a fair amount of dodge, so he is going to be a little bit more advantaged in getting away from the Orc lineup. Passing the turn here, Grishnak Toothspitta starts with his blitz right off the bat with the 1 strength up blitzer, and he's going to hit the Blodge Sidestepper. And you know, I'm not crazy about it. I would have double marked up the Alia Kunan. He's only got 3 agility. Even with dodge, getting him through tackle zones is going to be much more difficult than one of these 4 agility elves. Instead, he's going to end up with single man marks with 2 of these agility 4 guys, both with dodge. Not going to be able to stop that easily. Is going to pull another Black Orc back. One of the advantages for the Orc team of the High Elves bringing everybody back is that the Black Orcs are not going to have to do any sort of dodges away. They're going to be free to kind of flood all over the field wherever they want, take their marks, not going to have to risk those 2-die unskilled blocks. Is going to put the loner forward in a blocking position, and is going to go ahead and complete his markups. Now, looking at the formation here, it looks like he is kind of spreading the field. I'm not crazy that the High Elf team has put all of his receivers on one side. Makes it kind of easy to square off. That said, Weewo has put all his guys in between, which does give him slight advantage for interceptions, but it also does make it much easier for the Elves to throw it right over them, go ahead, run in, and score. The High Elf team looks like he is going to blitz with a ball carrier. This, again, not crazy about it. That fails. That just gets a push. You're going to have to do a dodge. You're going to end up losing the ball. He also then went and stood his ball carrier right next to a prone player. All it takes here is Snotstream Mucksifter to go right here. Skillless markup. Then this guy has a 1-die block on the Blodger. Apparently, Weewo is not going to go ahead and take advantage of that. And I do believe we spoke about this sometime afterwards. He didn't know quite how to do the blitzing from prone. You do just have to double-click with your prone guy on the guy you want to do the block. It will activate your blitz action. So that is going to be quite a oversight by Weewo, or a luck of the draw that Weewo wasn't as familiar with the blitzing for Mr. Matt China. And he's going to go ahead, double mark up this cage. Keeping his guys marked up, he does, again, these guys are going to have some pretty easy. He's going to go for this block again. Now, it is going to be tough to get the block sidesteppers down. I really would just mark this guy up. He's 3 agility. He's not going through tackle zones, at least with much ease. It's going to be a 4+, even with the free reroll. Goes ahead, blitzes, marks up the ball carrier. I do like to see some of this. Unfortunately, does have the guard player there, so he's still going to be able to get the assist without much difficulty. Goes ahead, elects to save the wizard a little bit longer, which is something I like to see. And he's passing along the turn back to Mr. Mad China, who's going to take some time here thinking about what he's going to do. Blitzes again with the ball carrier. He really seems to enjoy that. And then starting off with with dodges, with, it's a risky way to start. You fail any of that, especially you double fail it, you're in for trouble. You have multiple guys on your ball carrier. I think you really want to go ahead and, unless it's a very safe maneuver, which 2-die blocking is not always, especially then when it involves dodging. It depends on the situation. That said, I do think he's kind of set up a loose screen here. Again, not being very protective here. This player he passes it on, and with a dodge here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This player right here has a 1-die block with a dodge and 2 GFIs. Not saying that's necessarily the best play, but that's definitely an opening. You definitely want to stop mucking him up. In fact, with the reroll, I'd almost argue that is quite a strong play. And, you have a good shot. It's a 3+ for that dodge. You do have to get the 2 GFIs. He's going to go for the slightly safer play here. Patra, if he'd come in from a slightly different angle on this, you could have pushed him this way, which then would have allowed him to have free movement and go and mark him up on the front. So he's going to go ahead and do some more of his blocks. But again, if you look at what's happened here, this guy's in the open. He's got dodge. It's 1 in 36 chance of failing, getting away here. This guy's wide in the open with 7 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a single GFI to score. He's basically handed Mad China a score if he chooses to score early. Elects not to use the wizard again. And it looks like Mad China's going to start with the block. Pushes him away, gets down there, and looks like he's coming over, setting up, and moving these players down. Making a screen action around his ball carrier. Looks like he's going to do a little bit of a stall. Doesn't want to give the Orc too many turns to go ahead and get a score to equalize on his own reception. And is going to dodge away a guy. And again, I'm not sure I'd do some of these dodges here. Every guy you force to block, your elves, is a guy that's not going to be going in pressuring this stall. So it does slow down, it does inhibit your ability to do a stall by doing all these dodges because you're giving the orcs the free movement, given that they are much worse at dodging themselves. Looks like he really wants to blitz again with Grishnak Tufspita, and is going to start off with a mark. Goes with a double GFI, and does get it. Gets the down, moves in, and goes ahead, marks up the ball carrier. I do like that. Unfortunately, if he had been a little bit wiser, he would have put the Black Orc here and gone around, because then he would have been able to put another guy, this guy, running in, and could have gone in there without having to do a dodge. Could have put like 3 men on the ball on Patrick Murphy in the ball carrier, and the ball carrier at this point right now, all he has to do is a dodge in, nice and easy. Doesn't looks like he's going to go for the blitz. Goes ahead and gets the surf. I do like to see this. He's opened it up. Just has to walk it in, and decides to do the throw into a tackle zone. This is just foolish. Simply put, this is the wrong play. You really want to do this? You don't put this guy here. You put Patrick Murphy over here. You put him in the end zone. You hand it to him and hope for the 2-die thing. Otherwise, take the safe route and run it in. Throwing it into a tackle zone, that's just unwise. You've given the Orcs a huge opportunity here. Goes ahead, puts 2 men, 3 men on the ball, gets the ball, gets a little bit into the open. Unfortunately, by leaving this corner open, he's allowed a straight-up blitz without giving much of a cage. If he could cage up right here, the Elves would not be able to do this. Goes ahead and puts his guard guy right in between, which is exactly why you don't want to have that happen. He has the 2-die block, gets the stumbles, and unfortunately, Sailron Roloff is going to be the one that gets the ball, and since he's already done his blitz, I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it all the way to the end zone without some very risky dodges. I think he might have even come from prone, so he probably doesn't even have the movement to make it if he only has 5, maybe with GFIs and dodges through tackle zones. So he's wisely not going to do that. Dodges a little bit, takes the 2 GFIs, puts him in the open here. So he is going to open him to a 2-die block. And we're going to see what ends up happening. And he passes on the ball. So some incredibly curious play from all of the players here. Sailron Roloff does not have block. I want to see Socket Pulla come right down here. I want to see him hope for that 2-die blitz. Doesn't get it. Goes ahead, takes the 2-die, only gets the push. I want to see a reroll there. I definitely want to see a reroll there. You cannot afford to let that elf with dodge not go down. This is where you use the offensive reroll. If you're not going to use it here, you have 3 rerolls. Goes ahead and blows his wizard instead. This wizard is more valuable. You have 3 rerolls left and 2 turns left to play. You cannot use all these rerolls. So lack of offensive reroll could have turned this whole drive around. Goes ahead, picks up in a tackle zone, moves around, gets it, double GFI. Matt Scheinerman with some risky plays here, pulls out the score, scoring at the end of the half. Luck definitely being his lady. And he's going to go ahead and kick it off to the Orc team, who is going to be setting up to see what it is that he is going to do. And looks like Gabnik No-No's back in the back line. He's going to go ahead with this full frontal assault again. Not so much of a, again, this can be a bit risky. Sometimes I'd rather put more of them in the middle. But, he is going to be able to push down, and he does only have 3 turns to score. He does get the quick snap. I do like that. Is going to want to push his guys downfield as quickly as possible. It's going to have to come down to a throw play. And so he's going to want to get this receiver down, although unfortunately he does have loner, so really it should have been that one. Gabnik No-Nos, get him downfield. He's going to do some of his blocks. All right. At this point, you really do want to score. So we're going to have to go ahead and see what it is that he does moving forward. And Morbad Twinkle Toes goes ahead, grabs the ball, and got the Sure Hands pickup, and passes on the turn. All right, so passing on to Mad Shinerman, who is going to go ahead and mark up that ball carrier, which is a great maneuver, especially given that the opposing team does not have any sort of dodge on his ball carrier. Doesn't even really have block. So goes ahead, hits these receivers, and one of the problems here is you see it's going to be the 8th turn next. Who does Weewo have in line to score? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not him. Not anybody. He has thrown away this opportunity to 3-turn touchdown and equalize just by marking up, by going for some blocks, and unfortunately not pressuring the end zone, really giving him just a prime opportunity. He's going to go for the hit. He's going to go ahead and get that hit, and maybe a vanity pass. Maybe he's going to try to get a quick point on his thrower. No, he's going to go for the foul. Okay. And doesn't even try the vanity pass. So not crazy about the decision-making here on the Orc side. Really threw away that scoring opportunity and then went ahead and did not even go for a little bit of SPP with 0 risk there. I mean, you might not get it, but it's definitely worth going for. So let's see. Next we have the setup, and it is going to be the Orc reception, and starts off with his 2-die blocks. And unfortunately, he's going to have to burn the reroll early. That was something that definitely did not play to Weewo's favor in his decision-making, was his reroll management. Really neglected the offensive rerolls. If you're not having to use them on defense, if you're not having to use them for fails, use them on blocks, especially if you need that down. Goes ahead and blitzes with this Black Orc, really electing to go for these blocks with the Black Orcs. And, it's a little riskier, but he does have a lot of rerolls. So I suppose he's trying to level them up, which is definitely a viable strategy. Going on is going to pass on the turn to Mad Shina, who is going to go ahead and pick up the ball, shift around a little bit, and knock down 11 fingers with the 2-die block. Goes ahead, marks up the ball carrier. Again, great play here. Pressure that ball carrier. He has to blitz him off now. And it's a blodge with sidestep. This is a fantastic play. He doesn't get that down. You could just shift right in here. Shift right in here. He's going to have to do a dodge with a reroll if he can't get that defender down die. So really just making himself to be quite a nuisance. Goes ahead, takes his other blocks. Used his blitz, didn't get it off. So what does he have to do now? He either has to block with Morbad Twinkle Toes, or go for the dodge. Does go for the dodge. Doesn't even have to burn the reroll, so they're quite fortunate there. But you know what? He's done his job. He has pressured the ball carrier. Next turn, mark him up, mark up again. That is the real advantage of the blodge step players, is that they're hard to knock down, can stay right on the ball carriers. Orc team is going to surround some of the elves. We do have a big kind of quadrant of elves over here that are going to shift over, create a loose net. Blitzes again using his guard, marks up the ball carrier. This one is just going to be a blodger, so he's going to be he can be pushed away even by this socket puller right here, so he doesn't have to use his blitz. But he is going to go ahead and do that. Smart move by Weewo. Goes ahead and gets the push, reestablishes that cage, and I do want to see him start advancing down the line. Orcs are not a fast team, so he still does have some of these blocks. Again, another smart play, pushing that guy over. Although I think I probably would have put him here, so this guy still had free movement to establish the cage. And now you're going to have to use one of these guys as a blocker, which is still completely fine, as long as this lineman can either advance downfield or just come up here and complete the cage. And we got Tumpy Slipshanks back here, a little bit out of the action, using his blitz. How fortunate. And does the push. I am not sure, you're getting some of your guys behind your cage. You definitely want to have them start hitting and clearing the path for you. So I almost would have wanted to see a push in and then move around. He's already marked up. You don't need to double mark. He's just going to dodge away. And you see Mad Shinerman do exactly that. Dodges away, creates a net. And I would have put this here as he can still very much just go down this alleyway right there. But that said, especially, yeah, no, he can definitely go down here. You would want to line those up a little bit differently, especially leaving the one gap here. You put these two right here, you put these two right here, and he can't get through. But it is a smart net play. Orc team is really stuck in its tracks. They are going to have to try to advance slowly, switch the fields, get across. He is going to do exactly that. Has them in kind of a line right here. Shift socket pulla up. Looks like he's going to try to screen them off, maybe make a screen action and try to run more bad Twinkle Toes right up this side. And goes ahead, double marks. I don't know about this. Right here we've got a guy with 6 movement. Here we've got a guy with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If he can mark up from any direction with 2 GFIs, hit on the ball carrier. Otherwise, he could do it with even less movement if he goes a little differently. That is going to be a little bit of a risky play, though. So I do think it is wise that... oh, and he goes exactly for that, but he takes kind of a shorter route there. I would have gone a slightly longer route. Done the GFIs instead of all those dodges, especially a dodge into 3 tackle zones. That's just foolish. I honestly don't know what to say there. That's dodging into a cage. You definitely could have done that play without having done so. Especially with your Agility 3 guy. That's... not sure what the deal is there. It's not... yeah. Goes ahead, does GFIs. Is going to fail with the GFIs. Fortunately, this is going to be wide open again. Goes ahead, and the elves are a little bit out of position now. Is going to reestablish his cage. I'm going to want to see some marking up. Maybe put a little bit of pressure on the elven line. And, okay, so goes ahead, marks those up, passes it on. And we do see some very good deliberate cage pressing by the Weewo's team, the Malfi Gits. They, Matt Shiner now is going to have to, again, leaving this open. You don't want to leave this open. This is a route right here. But, you know, I guess that's the risk he's taking. With the handoff here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is actually scoreable with a handoff and 2 GFIs. It's riskier than I would want to play. But what he doesn't seem to have right here is this area marked out here. Ard Bits pushing this guy away, this guy knocking him down, or him knocking him down. You can just shift this whole cage right through here. And it does look like that's what Weewo's going to be going for. Goes ahead, pushes through. Blitzes with the GFI here. I might have wanted to see, a blitz with Glufac here. But, this is actually completely fine. This is... with the GFI, it's a little risky, but especially with the no skill block, but goes ahead, makes a great screen play. This is fantastic moving down the field. And it is looking like more bad Twinkle Toes is going to find his way to the end zone. He's got a clear shot. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this would leave the elf team 2 turns to score. You generally don't want to give an elf team 2 turns, but because it can be done, especially with some good throwing play. But without a thrower on their side, I think that's almost a gamble I'd be willing to take. He does have the rerolls, but he isn't going to be able to reroll the catch, reroll the pass if you play good defense. That said, if you can get a good stall out, you're going to want to do that as the Orc side. So he's going to shift down a little bit. Looks like he's trying to make up his mind here. Uses his blitz here. All right, I think he definitely could have just marked up and pushed him away, but that's really a fine. He uses his blitzer to knock the guy away and clears this guy. Now this at this point he does have a free score, a 0 risk score. He can just run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on more bad Twinkle Toes. Unfortunately, some of these guys have already moved, so he can actually reestablish his cage right here. Glufac has already moved, I believe, so Socket Pulla right there, Ardbits right there, Muxift right there. Instead, he has moved here, and Gutchu is already gone. Two GFIs, dodging. Yeah, that's just... He left this wide open. And the elf team is going to make him pay for it. So get a little greedy there with the dodge. Goes ahead, gives up the 2-die block, and Mad China punishes him. Now he gets the KO. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now you've got 2 Black Orcs. It doesn't look like it's going to be the elf team getting the ball here, but unfortunately, Black Orc ball carriers and a loner. There's nobody even close, and this is his last turn. A Blodge sidestepper right here. Oh man, Weewo has definitely made a blunder, and Mad China has made him pay. With the 1-0 lead, he's going to get the turnover. It's not going to succeed. Mad China is going to go ahead, take this victory 1-0, and show you all the risks of a stall and the glory of a little bit of Elven luck.